For the last decade, personal finance has been telling you the same thing. Build an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses, keep it safe, don't touch it. And look, that advice isn't wrong. But for most people watching this right now, the way you're following that rule is quietly costing you money every single month, not because you saved too little, because nobody ever told you the part that actually matters. Today, I'm going to tell you what most financial advisors skip and what I wish I'd done differently in the years I followed the standard rule without questioning it. Let's start with what the rule actually is, because most people are working from a fuzzy version of it. The standard emergency fund rule says to save 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a liquid, accessible account. The idea is simple. If you lose your job, face a medical bill, or your car dies, you have a cushion that keeps you from going into debt. And that logic is solid. Emergencies happen, debt is expensive. A cash buffer is genuinely one of the most important financial moves you can make. The problem isn't the concept. The problem is three things most people never think about: how much you actually need, where you're keeping it, and what you're allowed to spend it on. Get any one of those wrong, and your emergency fund either isn't doing its job or it's sitting there quietly costing you real money. 3 to 6 months sounds specific, but it's actually vague in the way that matters most. 3 months for who? Or 6 months for who? These questions are not answered by the generic rule. Here's the real question. How long would it take you to replace your income if you lost your job tomorrow? If you're a W-2 employee in a stable industry with marketable skills, 3 months might be plenty. You can find something within 60 to 90 days. If you're a freelancer, a contractor, or you work in a volatile industry, 3 months is almost certainly not enough. Your income can disappear overnight and take 6 months or longer to rebuild. If you're a single income household with dependents, you need more cushion than a dual income household with no kids. The math is different. The right emergency fund isn't 3 months or 6 months. It's the number of months it would realistically take you to stabilize your financial situation if everything went sideways. For most people, running that honest calculation changes the number. Here's how to find your number. Think about three things. 1, how stable is your income source? 2, how long does it typically take someone in your role to find new work? 3, what are your fixed, non-negotiable monthly expenses? Not your lifestyle expenses, the number that covers rent, utilities, food, and minimum debt payments. Multiply that number by your realistic replacement timeline. That's your actual emergency fund target, not some generic formula. Let me make this real with two quick examples. Example 1, you're a 32-year-old W-2 employee in marketing making $65,000 a year. Your fixed monthly expenses, rent, utilities, groceries, minimum debt payments come to $2,800 a month. Your industry is stable and you've got solid skills. Realistically, you could find comparable work in 60 to 90 days. That puts your emergency fund target at $2,800 times 3, about $8,400, not $16,000, not $32,000, $8,400. Example 2, same fixed expenses, $2,800 a month. But now you're a freelance designer with 3 clients. If 2 of them leave tomorrow, your income drops by 70% overnight. Rebuilding to full income could take 4 to 6 months. Your target is $2,800 times 5, $14,000. Nearly double the first example, and for good reason. Same expense number. Completely different emergency fund targets. That's why the generic rule fails many people. Here's the one that frustrates me the most because it's so easy to fix. The majority of people with emergency funds are keeping that money in a standard savings account at a big bank. Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. And those accounts are paying somewhere between 0.01 and 0.5% in interest. Meanwhile, high-yield savings accounts, which are FDIC insured, just as accessible and just as safe, are paying between 4 and 5% annually as of 2026. Let's put numbers on this. If your emergency fund is $15,000 sitting in a traditional savings account at 0.01%, you're earning about $1.50 a year. That same $15,000 in a high-yield savings account at 4.5% earns you $675 a year. That's not investing. That's not risk. That's just putting the same money in a smarter place. The emergency fund rule says keep it liquid and accessible. It does not say keep it in an account that pays you nothing. High-yield savings accounts check every box the rule requires. There's no reason your emergency fund should be losing ground to inflation in a traditional savings account. If you haven't moved yours yet, that's one of the highest return, lowest effort financial moves you can make this week. The third problem is behavioral, and it's the one that unravels emergency funds quietly over time. Most people never define what counts as an emergency. A car repair after an accident, yes, that's an emergency. A flight home for a wedding? Probably not. A new laptop because yours is slow? Definitely not. A medical bill you didn't see coming? Yes. A vacation you didn't budget for? No. Without a clear definition, emergency funds get rated for non-emergencies. And once you've pulled from it twice for things that weren't real emergencies, it stops being a buffer and starts being a second checking account. The rule that works is this: an emergency fund covers events that are unexpected, necessary, and would otherwise require debt. Write that down. Put it somewhere visible. When you're tempted to pull from it, run the situation through that filter first. And the second part of this, which almost nobody talks about, is the replenishment plan. If you use $2,000 from your emergency fund, what's the plan to rebuild it? If you don't have an automatic answer, you'll probably never fully restore it, and the buffer shrinks over time until it stops working. Build the replenishment rule before you need it. Something like, after any withdrawal, automatic transfers of a set amount per month until the fund is restored. Make it boring. Make it automatic. So here's how to actually apply this correctly. Step 1, calculate your number. Use your fixed monthly expenses and your realistic income replacement timeline. Not 3 months, not 6 months. Your number. Step 2, move it to a high-yield savings account if it isn't there already. This is a 20-minute task with a real dollar impact. Step 3, write your emergency definition. Unexpected, necessary, would otherwise require debt. That's the filter. Step 4, set your replenishment rule before you need it. Automatic transfers, fixed amount until restored. That's it. The standard rule got you 60% of the way there. These 4 steps get you the rest. If you want to move faster on this, I built a prompt inside my AI prompt pack specifically for calculating your emergency fund number based on your income type, job stability, and monthly expenses. It takes about 5 minutes and gives you a real number instead of a generic range. The link is in the description. And if this changed how you're thinking about your emergency fund, drop a comment below. I read everyone. I want to know whether you're closer to the 3-month camp or the 6-month camp after running your own numbers. Subscribe if you haven't. Every Monday, I break down the personal finance rules that actually deserve a second look.